Hello and welcome to Go to Australia TV show, your show. As you may recall in previous program, we talked about Australian visas in general. Why should we come to Australia? Why Australia is a good country to live? And what is a visa? We then talked in brief different types of visas we have in Australia. Today in particular, we're going to talk about skilled visas and a particular subclass of skilled visas called subclass 189, skilled independent visa. So let's begin. So we talked about visas in general in the past. Now we're going to talk about general skill migration. And as you know, there are quite a few subclasses within this category, such as subclass 189, 190, 187, 186, 482, and soon we have 491, and so on. Today we're going to talk about only subclass 189, which is the best skill visa you can get. It is called skilled independent visa, and that means you can, once you get this visa, you can come and live in Australia forever, and you can live anywhere you like. You're not nominated by a state or a region, so you don't have to go to a particular area of Australia, and you can benefit from whatever benefits you could get from any other permanent residency. And to get this visa, obviously there are some requirements. And what are they? We'll start with the main requirements or basics, then we go through each item separately. So what are the requirements for subclass 189? We start with age. Age should be under 45. So you must be between 18 and 45 to be able to apply for subclass 189 visa. Your occupation. Your occupation should be on what we call medium to long-term skill shortage list, also called MLTSSL. You also need to be competent in English as a minimum. If you're not from an English-speaking country, you need to score IELTS 6 in each band or a similar or a comparable score in other tests such as TOEFL, such as PTE, CAE, OET, and so on. And you need to meet point tests, and the point score you need as a minimum at the moment is 65. You may need more actually. In fact, you need more at the moment to get this visa, but as a minimum you have to have 65 points to be able to get subclass 189 visa. And finally, similar to almost all other visas that Australia provides, you need to meet health and character requirements. So these are the basics, and now we're going to talk about point test. So how you get the 65 or more points needed for a subclass 189. So as I said, the first item would be age, that gives you some points. How is it calculated? It depends how old you are. If you are between 18 to 24, you get 25 points. If you are between 25 to 32 years old, you get 30 points. If you are 33 to 39, you get 25 points. If you are 40 to 44, you will get 15 points. So basically after 44, you won't get any points, and obviously you're not eligible for subclass 189. What's the next item? The next item that gives you points for skill migration is your level of English ability. How this is measured? If you are from English-speaking countries such as the UK, the US, Canada, New Zealand, you assume that you will get IELTS 6. So basically you don't need to sit an IELTS test. You assume that you're competent in English. So you meet the basic requirements. But if you want to get points, no matter from which country you are, you need to sit a particular test and get a score. How the score is calculated? If you sit for an IELTS test as an example, and if you get 6 in each band, you get 0 points. If you get 7 in each band IELTS, you will get 10 points. And if you get 8 in each band, you will get 20 points. But if you get something in between, you won't get extra points. For example, if you get 7.5, you only get 10 points. You don't get more than that. If your band scores, the overall is, let's say, even 8, but one of the scores, one of the bands are less than 7, you assume that you haven't got even 7. So each score, each band is important, and you need to get 7 or 8 in each band to get either 10 or 20 points. And the same goes for other tests such as PTE, such as TOEFL, such as OET and CAE. You can sit all these tests. And for some of these tests, you can sit both general and academic, but for some, you only can sit for academic to be accepted by the Australian government. As an example, for IELTS, you can sit both general and academic tests, but for PTE, you can only provide PT academic results, and that's accepted by the Australian Immigration Office Department. So what's the next item? The next item that will give you some points is skilled employment or your work experience. How is it calculated? If you have worked in Australia, your work experience or skilled employment, if it is 1 year or more, it will give you 5 points. If it is 3 years or more, it will give you 10 points. If it is 5 years or more, it will give you 15 points. And if it is 8 years or more, it will give you 20 points. But remember, these years of experience should be within the past 10 years. You cannot claim the work experience that you've had 20 years ago or 11 years ago, let's say. And if you have worked overseas, the point score would be a bit different. If you have worked for 3 years or more, you will get 5 points. If you have worked for 5 years or more, you get 10 points. And if you have worked 8 years or more, you will get 15 points. So as you see, the maximum points you can get here is 20 points. And if you have worked both in Australia and overseas, the points would be calculated separately. You cannot mix the two up. And the maximum point you can get for skilled employment would be 20 points. And let's go to the next item. The next item, which will give you some points, is your level of education or qualification you've got. If you have a doctorate degree, a PhD, what we call, you will get 20 points. And just remember, a PhD or doctorate degree is different to what we call a doctor. If you are a medical officer and they call you doctor, you may get 15 points only, because that's a bachelor degree. But if you have a PhD and you are also a doctor, then you get 20 points. So the 20 points we get for doctorate degree is for PhD only. If you have a bachelor degree or master degree, you will get 15 points. If you have a advanced diploma or diploma, you will get 10 points. And if you have a trade qualification or a qualification that is assessed by an assessing authority in Australia, you will get 10 points. But you need to be mindful that not every qualification you get overseas is recognized in Australia or comparable to Australian qualifications. It depends which country you're from, which institute or university you've studied at, your qualification may be accepted at the same level or lower here in Australia. Okay, let's go to the next item then. The next item which will give you points is if you have studied in Australia. If you have studied in Australia for 2 years, a minimum of 92 weeks, and this has resulted in a qualification, a degree, let's say advanced diploma, bachelor degree or higher, you will get 5 points for those 2 years of study. And if you have studied in regional area, so you have studied in Australia and that study is at a university or a college in a regional area, that will give you extra points, extra 10 points. In fact, at the moment it's 5 points, but from November 2019, by which time you're probably watching this program, you will get 10 points for studying in regional area. This is on top of the 5 points that you get for studying in anywhere in Australia.
SBA Parramatta measures its value and services through client satisfaction. We help clients navigate the maze of tax laws. We provide on-time accounting, bookkeeping, taxation and self-managed super fund services for small to medium-sized businesses. We've been involved in a number of business startups. Many have remained with us as long-term accounting clients. For more info, call 1300 TAX SBA or visit our website at sbaparramatta.com.au.
Choice, not chance, makes destiny.
The next item that will give you points is your expertise and ability in a second language. So that could be your mother language or it could be a different language. You can get only 5 points, and to get these 5 points you need to basically sit or attend a test by NATI. NATI is the National Australian Translation Authority, and if you sit that test and pass the test, you will get 5 points. Whether you are single or married, or you have a partner or children, you might get some points depending on your marital status. Until now, the immigration department would give only 5 points to people who have skilled partners. But from November 2019, you will get 10 points if you are single, which is interesting. That's the first time that the immigration department offers such a point. And you will also get 10 points if you are married or you have a partner who is skilled. By skilled, the partner needs to have a qualification assessed by the assessing authority in Australia, and your partner needs to be competent in English, then she or he will give you 10 points. And just remember, these 10 points starts from November 2019. Right now, it is 5 points. And as I said, if you are single, you also get 10 points. And the immigration department has just recently announced that it will categorize people based on their status. As an example, if you are single or if you are married and your partner is skilled, you are in category 1, basically you're in level 1. If you're married but your partner is not skilled, but he or she can meet the English requirements, you'll get 5 points, and that takes you to category 2. If you're married and your partner is not skilled and cannot score 6 in IELTS or she's not competent in English, you will go to category 3. And what it means is that if, let's say, I have 80 points and you have 80 points, I am single and you're married and your wife is not skilled, or your spouse is not skilled, I would be prioritized and I will be invited first. So hopefully that clears this item. Let's go to the next item. The next item is what we call professional year in Australia. For some qualifications such as accounting, computer or engineering, the universities in Australia or the institutes in Australia offer some particular course that you will go through, and at the end this will help you to find job or get to know Australian work system. And if you go through such a pathway, which is a 1-year course, you will get 5 points for it, and it is called professional year. This is what most students do these days, especially in engineering, accounting and computer. The next item, which will give you some points but not for subclass 189, is if you get state sponsorship or regional sponsorship. If you get nominated by a state, you will get 5 points. And if you get nominated by a regional authority, you will get 10 points. But these points, they're gonna change from November. And instead of 10 points, you're gonna get 15 points for a visa subclass 491. But that comes to effect in November 2019. And as I said, these 2 points, whether state or regional authority, they're not counted towards subclass 189. In subclass 189, you're not using these points. But because in the next program, we're gonna use the point system, and I'm not gonna repeat the whole thing again, I thought I'd bring them all together in this program. So what's the next item? The next and final item that will give you points for skill migration is if you have studied in Australia and you have studied a research degree, a master by research or a PhD in what we call STEM sciences, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, you will get points for it. The points you will get for STEM studies is at the moment is 5 points, but from November 2019 it would be 10 points. So if you have done a PhD in Australia, just briefly, you will get 20 points for PhD, you get 5 points for studying in Australia, and you will get an extra 10 points if it is in science, STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. You will get 10 points for that. And if that study is in regional area, let's say if you have studied at Adelaide University, you will get an extra 5 points for it, which again, that's going to change to 10 points as well. So if you are studying in Australia, you're in a very, very good position to get a subclass 189 or get very high score for subclass 189. So we talked about points, how to get points. By now you can calculate your points. And as we said, for a subclass 189, you need a minimum of 65 points. But would it be enough if you get 65 points? No, unfortunately. These days, because of a very, very heavy competition that we have for 189, it is difficult to get, even with 70 points or 75 points, to get a subclass 189. Therefore, if you would like to get this visa, you need to increase your points, especially where you can, such as sitting an English test and get a better score. And at the end, this is how we can say in general you calculate your points. But if you want to make sure you've done this correctly and you know what to do next, how to proceed, I suggest you talk to a migration agent wherever you are, in your home country or in Australia. They can advise you, basically they can assess you and tell you whether you have a chance for subclass 189 or whether you go ahead with other subclasses of visas. So that was it for today's program. Thank you for watching the show. We talked about subclass 189, which is the best skilled visa possible you can get. There are other skilled visas that you can apply for if you're not eligible for subclass 189. And obviously by watching the next episodes, you will find out about many other visas such as 190, 491 or 489, such as partner visas, parent visas, student visas, visitor visas, and so on. So please keep watching the show. Please provide us with your feedback. Follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching the program and see you in the next episode. Bye for now.